Back Then with Ben 1912. A year of change, triumph, and tragedy. Hey friends, welcome back to Back Then with Ben, your time machine to the past. Tonight, we're winding the clock all the way back to 1912, a year when the United States had just over 95 million people. The world felt wide open with possibilities, and history was being written with every passing season. From states being added to the Union to groundbreaking achievements and heartbreaking tragedies, this year still echoes across time. Let's step into the past together and relive the unforgettable moments of 1912. On January 6th, America expanded its borders when New Mexico became the 47th state. With its desert landscapes and deep cultural roots stretching back centuries, it added a whole new dimension to the American Southwest. Just weeks later, on January 22nd, Henry Flagler's bold dream came to life. His incredible Florida Overseas Railroad finally reached Key West. When the first train rolled into the island city, over 10,000 people gathered, celebrating what was hailed as an engineering marvel. Then came Valentine's Day, February 14th, when the nation welcomed Arizona as the 48th state. Its sweeping deserts and the iconic Grand Canyon became the final puzzle piece of the continental United States. On March 1st, aviation history took a daring leap when Albert Berry jumped from a moving airplane with a parachute. His bold act opened the skies to new possibilities and inspired future generations of pilots and inventors. A few days later, on March 12th, something small but mighty began in Savannah, Georgia. Juliet Garden Low gathered 18 girls together, founding what we now know as the Girl Scouts of America, a movement that would go on to inspire countless young women. Later that same month, on March 27th, an international gesture of friendship bloomed. Japan gifted 3,000 cherry trees to Washington, D.C., trees that would grow into one of the capital's most beloved spring traditions. But joy turned to sorrow on April 15th, when the unsinkable RMS Titanic struck an iceberg and sank on its maiden voyage. More than 1,500 lives were lost, marking one of the darkest maritime tragedies in peacetime history. Just 2 days later, on April 17th, music found its moment when Al Jolson recorded Ragging the Baby to Sleep. It would later be remembered as the first unofficial gold record, an early milestone in American music history. By May 11th, the spotlight turned north as Alaska was officially named a U.S. territory, though it would not achieve statehood for many decades. But the month ended in heartbreak. On May 30th, the aviation world lost a pioneer. Wilbur Wright, one half of the legendary Wright brothers, passed away from typhoid fever in Dayton, Ohio. His legacy, however, would continue to lift humanity to the skies. Summer brought its own share of turbulence. On June 18th, at the Republican National Convention, tensions boiled over between President Taft and former President Theodore Roosevelt. When Taft secured the nomination, Roosevelt and his supporters broke away to form the Progressive Party, famously nicknamed the Bull Moose Party. Then tragedy struck again on July 1st, when Harriet Quimby, the first woman to fly solo across the English Channel, died in a plane crash in Massachusetts, just 2 months after making history. A day later, on July 2nd, modern dining took a leap forward. Horn and Hardart opened their first automat in New York City, where for just a nickel, diners could open little glass doors and serve themselves a hot meal. The future of fast food had arrived. That same summer, on July 7th, the world was in awe as athlete Jim Thorpe dominated the pentathlon at the Stockholm Olympics, winning 4 out of 5 events and capturing the gold medal. On August 21st, scouting history was made when Arthur Rose Eldred became America's very first Eagle Scout, a rank that would go on to symbolize achievement for generations of young men. Then came October 14th, a day that could have ended very differently. While campaigning in Milwaukee, Theodore Roosevelt was shot in the chest during an assassination attempt. Remarkably, he still delivered his full speech before finally seeking medical attention. The drama of that year carried into the presidential election on November 5th when Democrat Woodrow Wilson defeated both William Howard Taft and Theodore Roosevelt in a rare three-way race that forever altered American politics. Finally, on December 18th, across the ocean, English archaeologist Charles Dawson announced the discovery of the Piltdown Man, believed to be the missing link between apes and humans. The find captivated scientists, though it would later be revealed in the 1950s as one of the greatest hoaxes in archaeology. And that was 1912, a year of breakthroughs, heartbreaks, and turning points that still shape the world we live in today. This has been another journey with Back Then with Ben, where history comes alive one year at a time. If you enjoyed stepping back into 1912 with me, make sure to like, subscribe, and return for more nostalgic bedtime history stories. Together, we'll keep the past alive. Sweet dreams, and until next time.